I was there last night. The place was jammed at the Hilton Theater. People stood up when the ensemble came out, even before the principals. First row stood up. Once the first row stands up, standing ovation. I mean, you know, it was great. They liked the show. The audience, the New York audiences have been very, very responsive. They get little crazy jokes, they get subtle jokes, they get all kinds of, you know. And Roger Bart is playing them like an accordion. I mean, he knows when to hang on to a laugh and when to let it go, when to die. I mean, he's like Danny Kaye. He's got the vocal dexterity. Remember Danny Kaye and Up in Arms and all those movies? He's got it. And Megan just swoops them up and makes love to them. And I mean, she's got, not since Mae West has anybody had the kind of fun sex, you know? It's very hard, you know. Sutton Foster is Broadway's best singer, dancer, heartthrob, you know. Shuler Hensley is very big, he's the monster. And he's like dropping the other big shoe in the second act. He takes the audience home. And we discovered this little guy, Chris Fitzgerald. I don't know if you've seen him. He's amazing. And he looks a little like Marty Feldman. I mean, it's amazing. And his accent is, and the funniest one on the stage is Andrea Martin. You've got to wear Depends if you're over 50. You must wear Depends. If you see Andrea Martin, it is dangerous. Everything, I mean, there's no control, you know. So, I mean, you couldn't have had, you know, topped with Fred Applegate, who plays the blind man as well as Inspector Kemp. He's a genius. We got the best cast ever. And it was Gene Wilder's idea while we were making Blazing Saddles. He said, how about doing Young Frankenstein? I said, what? He said, you know, young Freddie Frankenstein, who decides he hates his grandfather's, and he changes his name to Frankenstein. I said, I love it. And he doesn't want to be, I said, but the blood comes up. It comes through. He is a von Frankenstein. He said, yeah. So I said, okay, let's do that. The film is the film, and they never were intended to sing or dance or do any kind of production number or spectacle. And a Broadway musical means, you know, they got to sing and dance, and they got to really be good at both. And then they got to be funny, too. I knew Roger was funny because he played that very gay Carmen Gia in The Producers. And so I knew Roger had it. But, you know, and I saw Megan Mullally on Will and Grace, but that's a television show. It's funny, quote funny, but it's not devastatingly funny like you have to be on Broadway. But she had it. She's a combination, I tell you, of Ethel Merman, Mae West, and there's a touch of Vivian Leigh. There's something very beautiful and haughty English about her that's gorgeous, you know? I mean, I'm so sorry she's married. But anyway, she's married to a nice guy too, Nick. But I love my cast, you know? And I've made love to my cast. Andrea will tell you at the Dixie Hotel, 3 times a week we just go at it. Now, there is no more Dixie Hotel, is there? I think they tore it down. I'm sorry, Andrea. I'm sorry. We'll have to find another place. What makes me laugh is the individual spin that these wacky performers will put on a line. So every night they'll change something. And I don't know if they do it to tease me or they do it to, you know, but they're all very creative, and they'll come from a very strange place to land the joke, which I never intended, but I'm very happy to receive, you know. The first one I ever saw was a show called, and I think it set my mind to be in theater right then. I was 9 years old, and I saw William Gaxton and Ethel Merman in a Cole Porter show called Anything Goes. And I said, and it got split notices. They don't know. The critics never know. Time is the only judge, you know. Some liked it, some didn't. Now it's a legendary Cole Porter musical. And they didn't like some of it. Some of the critics didn't like the title song, Anything Goes. In olden days, a bit of stocking was looked on as something shocking, but heaven knows anything goes. I mean, such music. You're the top. I mean, all through the night, the beautiful, incredible songs, incredible performances. I sat in the last seat, in the last row of the balcony, with my Uncle Joe, the cab driver, who got a free ticket because he used to take the doorman home in his taxi. And Ethel Merman was a mile away, and I thought she was a little too loud. You know, that's what power she had. And it was a great experience. It imprinted itself on my mind, and it took me a long time to get back to musical theater. A very long time. It took me about 50 years, but I started writing songs immediately, right after that. You know, there were wonderful shows like Richard Rodgers, you know. When he was writing with Lorenz Hart, it was musical comedy. And he started writing with Oscar Hammerstein, who's a genius, you know, who wrote Showboat. I don't know. I mean, Oscar Hammerstein is a genius, but not the funniest guy on the block, you know? Not so many funny lyrics, like Larry Hart. So Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein started a new trend called musical drama. And it was musical drama. It was Carousel, it was Me and Juliet, it was Oklahoma, it was South Pacific. I mean, these are all great shows. I'm not knocking them, but they weren't Where's Charlie or The Bells Are Ringing. They weren't Guys and Dolls. They were not musical comedy. And it was 25 years before I came in with the producers with an old-fashioned, almost vaudeville, vulgar, silly, stupid, but brilliant show, I think, called The Producers. And we won, what, 12 Tonys? I mean, the most ever, you know. So there was obviously a hunger, a great hunger for old-fashioned musical comedy. And it was a thrill to be able to provide what I knew about it, you know, to go back to Anything Goes, to bring that kind of wacky, you know, stand-up comedy back. I am immensely talented and very happy to share it with Jews and others. And and it's a thrill to be able to practice my craft, and especially on Broadway. And, you know, I'm kidding about immensely talented. I think I'm talented enough to please, to make people laugh and to make people, and some of my songs, to make people joyous and happy. I would say go there. You know, even if there's a little old lady in your way at the ticket booth, I'd push her on the side and I'd get that ticket. By the way, I'm kidding. The tickets are only $50 to $120. At the beginning, there were some premium seats for $400, and everybody's, I'm not going to pay $400. You never had to pay $400. If you were a student and you were a medical student, you paid $25 to sit in the first row. If you want to sit somewhere in the balcony, you pay $50. If you want to sit in the orchestra, you pay $100. You know. The prices are very good, they're very reasonable, and you know, people are not aware of it. They, you know, I don't know how many tickets are available, but I know there are some, you know. If they get it. This is a good time to buy. Because in April, all of the UK, all of England will come here. Because, I mean, our dollar is worth about 11 cents compared to their pound, you know. So they're going to take every seat up. I know that. I know there are tours, a big bus tour, you know, flights and stuff. Buses would be tough. You need a big ferry. You know, you could put the buses on a ferry, and you know. But I see their buses here. They're double deckers. They're red. You know. The public seems to want Blazing Saddles, but I don't know. I did a movie called Life Stinks about a billionaire who becomes a bum. It's very funny and it's very moving. I did the 12 Chairs, the chase for the diamonds in a chair, you know, which is really very emotional and very funny. You make a movie. You work very hard. It takes a year and a half to write it. It takes a year to film it and edit it, and maybe another couple of months to release it. You're waiting 2 years for your first laugh, you know. And then if it's you see it in the daytime, there's 3 people in the, you know, you go to the theater, whether it's a matinee or evening performance, the house is packed, you're paid in full, with laughter, with applause. I didn't get into it for money. I probably would have segued into hedge funds if I just wanted to get money. I went into it for the love of theater, for the love of comedy, for the love of music, and the love of the event, the experience. Broadway is your payment for suffering, for living, for enduring. I mean, Broadway is the best. There's nothing like a Broadway show. Nothing like a Broadway show.